Now, we can just put that there, move it all around. That's nice. That was drama free. I like it. Although my hole here is it's a little off, but it'll be fine. Wait, see how that goes. But okay, so we have holes. Now let's clean it up a little, and see how the switches fit. All right, my daylight's going away, so we have to change our scenery. We're right under a light right here, so this should work pretty good. So one thing I need to do is I want to keep this paper gasket. So I'm just going to trace around this, get an approximation of where these holes are going to be, because actually, to be honest, I really need these to be cut out a lot bigger to fit around the nuts behind the switches. So we will see how we're going to do this. I have some hole punches. I don't remember if I have one that goes this big, but we'll see how that works. Cheap little plastic nuts to hold these switches on. Are they going to stay in place? Wonder if I'll glue them or something. Gotta be careful. I gotta make sure I can get that screw to fit in there. I thought these were real easy to, you can't miss them. Even if you got gloves on or something like that, you can. That's how I'm gonna work it over and over and over and over and over. And it has this little light, so it'll light up. I mean, you can probably tell that the lights are on because they're going to be on. So this isn't really going to do much for me, but who knows? If it's not hard to, what would be nice is if this middle terminal is the power, is where you connect for this little indicator light, because I don't necessarily need that, and then I can eliminate that and solve a lot of problems. Let's consult the documentation that came with them. Yep, okay, so that doesn't tell me anything. I've got to go back to where I bought them from, because I think they have a diagram on there telling you what needs to be wired for what. But, so that's cool. So we'll clean this off back here, which I was supposed to do before I put all this together. But I'll probably end up painting this thing to match the bars like I did the brackets. And I think that'll work out pretty good. I'm trying to do this to where I don't drill any holes in the tractor. Just make everything bolt together and fit in existing holes. So we will see. Let's see how this fits. Be careful that I don't move my glued piece. We've got this. What we're hoping for is to get one set of terminals to fit down in there and one to fit down in there. And it fits together, so it must fit down in there. I'll be able to see it by looking in there. Yeah. So just got to figure out how to connect. Man, if I can get rid of the center terminal, I'm good. I'm good to go, because I can use like flag terminals on these, on this one, and then straight ones on that one. But I've also got to see where, because one side's going to be power. There'll be one power wire that comes in. I'll probably jumper it from here to here. And then I've got to have two separate ones coming out of here. And one will go down to one side and one will go up to the other side. So it'll be, no, that's wrong. I said those words wrong. So when it comes off of here, it's got to split immediately. Because one, you've got a front and rear light for each side. So I'll have, if this is rear lights, I'll have one splits off here, and it'll go two different places. So, okay, that'll be the fun part, to see if we can make all that fit in this little box. But we'll wait till it dries. And I need to look at the wiring on this thing. Okay, I think that may be as far as we get on this today. Alright, so here's what I'm dealing with. I want this attached somewhere here. I want to use those existing bolt holes. But if I do that, this is going to get all in the way of that stuff. So really, it needs to be out here. So the wiring will clear this pin, and so I can actually put bolt holes through it without going into this thing. So I dug around and I found this, even though it's got some weird holes drilled in the edge. Got to figure out how I want to use this. So I can do something like this. Space it out. So I'm going to make some marks. It needs to be, because I can put some screws through here and then drill a couple holes to bolt into this. It really needs to be that full size. I hate that it's got these weird holes in the bottom. But I'm going to dig them out and see how deep they are. It's got a slight bend right here. I'm thinking I may cut that off. So I've either got to cut that off or deal with it having an extra weird hole right there. Maybe I'll cut that first and then figure out how long to make it. What I should do is cut off the edge, go ahead and attach this so that I can then hold it up here and get it in the position I want, and then just mark the holes. So maybe that's what we need to do. All right, let's go do that. All right, I went ahead and painted this little cover because I want to go ahead and tighten the switches down. I looked at the pinout and it looks like this middle one is the main power going in, and then one goes out to the lights, and then one goes to a ground, which basically just lights up this little bulb or LED or something. So I don't know if I'll use that or not, but I was really hoping that this middle was the ground and I could just eliminate it and use these two smaller ones. But it looks like I'll have to, I wanted to get them screwed down so that I could bend these terminals out. If I can bend these side ones out a little bit, then I can bend this one over or something and make it fit the way I want it to. So when I get to that point, I'll work on that. I did, if I can figure out what I did with it, I did cut a piece of aluminum. Here we go. That I think will be good for that little bracket. I'll probably try to decide if I really smooth off these edges or not. But one thing I don't like is these holes. So I think what I want to do is maybe, I was thinking I could fill them with a screw and then grind off the head, but they really need to be aluminum screws. So let me see if I've got any aluminum rod. Maybe I can just cut some threads on a piece of aluminum and screw them in there and then cut them off flush. Because those, if I leave those holes in there, they're just going to fill up with more dirt, whatever bug that is that builds nests in all my stuff. So we'll see. Yeah, I really thought I was going to stick this in the shaper and smooth it out, but I mean, I'm going to sandblast it anyway to paint it. So it may be just fine. I may round off these edges slightly though. So let me work on making something. Let's see if I've got something that I can fill these holes with. And that'll be the next thing. Okay, let's see here. So I got this, and I just cut some 1/4 threads on that. And I need some Loctite. We'll see if there is any in here, because it looks pretty messed up. Oh, yep, there's some in there. That stuff's messy. All right, I'm going to have to buy some more of that. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so now I've got that. Just gonna cut it off flush. And I have a hacksaw somewhere. Okay, so it's kind of rough right now. Where is it? There it is. So that's filling in the hole. But I'm thinking if I stick this in the shaper and cut it down far enough, those will almost disappear. And I wasn't going to do that, but I started looking at this thing and it's not exactly square. So it would be nice to kind of square up the edges. So let me try to do that. So I need, let's do one more. All right, I got another one cut. Okay. Clean up these two edges and get them. No, that's not what I want. I'm not touching. All right, might make a little noise, but let's see what we got. Been running a while, let's go. Like that sound. Alright, we need to lengthen our stroke slightly. All the way again. There she is. Good. Going all the way to the hit stuff. Okay, that's square. And looks a lot better. I mean, for a hack job, it looks pretty good. So I just need to file off this burr here, or break it off with my fingers. Not bad. Okay, now take this burr off. Okay. So, got these two sides pretty parallel for the most part. Where that gets us. It's got a few burrs on here though. Not bad. Pretty much what I saw on the other side. Ooh. Oh, that's because of that burr right there. That's better. Yeah. So that's as square as this bracket needs to be. Probably more square than it really needs to be. Okay, so let's move this over there. I'm gonna deburr this and probably round these edges off again. I don't know why I did it before I cut this. And probably lay out my holes first. I need to get the holes drilled. I think I'm actually going to drill these where it goes through the bar drill and just tap these, and I can screw the bolts into the aluminum, because it's not like they have to be, you know, it's just holding it on there. So I need to get the box attached and then set it in place and punch my holes, so I'll know where to drill those, and we can tap that. So let me get set up to look at that stuff in a minute. Okay. Oops. Okay, back here on the trash can workbench. Okay, so this is going down, plate goes here, That's going to go like that. That didn't do good. Whatever I do. Alright, so guys, 2 holes. 1032 is pretty loose in there. That's fine. Now, we can go back to doing things the right way. We can this is going to be a cool thing, cool part. That'll just fit down on those little steps. We can drop this. Put in our good center drill. Maybe we can see if we can cheat and leave it on the speed that it's on and not change pulleys. Didn't chatter any because I'm trying to hold it with my hand. That's real nice. It's like butter. Nice drill bit. see if this countersunk bit works. One countersunk, one flathead, more than that. What I ought to do is set a depth stop, but maybe we'll do that after we figure out what it's supposed to be. Okay, now I have two countersunk screw holes, one countersunk screw, but that's backwards. Goes it like this. Alright, so I need some 3/4 inch long screws, and it may interfere with one of those terminals. So I have to see. Alright, and then I can finish this up. Alright. I've got some stuff over here. So I've got, oops, no, drop it. Alright, I have this mounted to this piece of plate. And now we just need to line it up on here so we know where we're going to put it. Now the trick here, one nice thing about the way this is made is that this folds out of the way. It's not this, I don't have to worry about this coming down and hitting these. So one thing I wanted to look at was to kind of line up where the holes were. So what we need to do I'm just going to eyeball this where it looks like I've got equal looks about right. So to be honest, that might work. Really be in there pretty good. think that'll really get in the way of anything. Okay, so next what we need to do is get a transfer punch and mark our holes. And the way I'm doing this with these same bolts I used up here, these 7/16 bolts just barely fit through here. So I got to get these holes right. Almost wonder if I shouldn't use like 3/8 bolts. Let's go see what we can find. Well, that's not bad. Okay. I was thinking that I almost had to tap them in. That one has to be tapped in there, but this will work. This will work. I may put a washer on the back side, but that is just a little bit above that. So if I thread it, if I put a split washer under the head of each one of these and use this size, which I think is 2-inch, it'll come out just right. So, all right, cool. I like that. Let me get a transfer punch. Transfer punches. Very useful. I don't know what I'd do without these things before. Basically, none of my holes lined up is what I did. Pretty good. That ain't it, so it's this one. Now, one thing that's a little irritating about these, and that's how they have to function, is that since it has that little point on the end, if you're trying to knock this into something that's flush, this is actually thick enough that it may work. But if it's something thinner, you know, you may not go through this before it bottoms out on the part you're trying to touch. So my first plan was to put a washer there, give me a little more space. But I think this will actually work without that, so that'll be better. Next thing, make sure it stays in the right place. It'll put us a clamp on here. Now the tricky part is when I go to tap this in here, is it going to knock it all out of whack? Fits in the top hole, not the bottom hole. The bottom hole is sort of in this bend, so it's a little bit distorted. Maybe that made a mark, because it definitely felt squishy. You know, if I'd run over that and resurface that, I'd be able to see it a whole lot better. Okay, I see him. And get the light just right. Give me some marks to let me cheat. Find the thing again. Okay, so next we drill and tap these, and we'll be able to bolt that on. All right, we get to use this cool new blue thing again. Oh yeah. Change those speeds. Bigger punch mark. Use the right tool for the job. Nice, finally. It is awesome. Okay, this is my spring-loaded tap. What do they call it? Tap guide. These things are wonderful. I use it in the drill press. I use it in the lathe. I use it everywhere. Lube it up. Down. And all I have to do is this. Or maybe I have to push a little bit. Yeah. All right, I've only painted one side of this thing, but I think we can test it, see if it fits. Man, that threaded in just perfect. Okay. So, still got to paint that side and the rest of it. I just got 2 little bolts. And it sticks out a little, but not. I mean, it doesn't stick out any further than that, so I don't think you're going to hit your arm on it or anything. You just have your 2 little switches right there. So that fits. That's good. We got to paint it. We got to run some wires. So ultimately, I'm going to have to find a ground for all these lights.